Thanks, Nancy. Grain SA says diesel price hike will impact negatively on farmers, and the state accuses Jub of lying. Good afternoon. Grain South Africa says the increase of 47.2 cents in the price of diesel from tomorrow will mean an extra production cost of 91 million rand for grain and oilseed farmers countrywide. From midnight tonight, the new diesel price will be 10 rand 50 per litre. Senior economist at Grain South Africa, Cornel Low, says the diesel price has now increased by 38% in the past year. He says a farmer will use almost 50 litres of diesel per hectare from now till the end of the current grain harvest. He says it will impact negatively on farmers.
Just this increase will cause an increase of 24 rand per hectare for a farmer. If you see it in the bigger picture, we saw that grain farmers want to plant 3.8 million hectares, and if you calculate the whole impact of this increase, it comes down to 91 million rand extra that a farmer must pay.
A 39-year-old police officer has been shot dead at a Germiston mall after responding to a business robbery. 6 armed men robbed a jewelry store but were confronted by police as they left the store. A shootout ensued, resulting in the death of one officer. The suspects escaped unharmed and no arrests have been made. Police spokesperson Tisika Wendo.
The members from Jamestown SAPS responded to a complaint of business robbery at Lambton Court Shopping Centre in Jamestown. When they arrived at the crime scene, they were confronted by 6 armed men who then started shooting at them and fatally shooting the sergeant who was driving the state motor vehicle at the time. They fled the scene in 2 motor vehicles.
The Constitutional Court has found that the relocation and demolition of homes belonging to residents of the Bapsfontein informal settlement in Ekurhuleni was unlawful. The court has ordered the Ekurhuleni municipality to identify land for housing development for these residents and to report to the court on this process by no later than the 1st of December next year. Tsepo Pagane has the details.
In a unanimous judgment, the Constitutional Court found that the relocation and the demolition of homes by the Ekurhuleni municipality to be unlawful. The court found that by evicting people without a court order, the municipality acted contrary to the Constitution and outside the powers given by the Disaster Management Act. Tsepo Pagane, SABC News, Constitutional Court.
The state has accused musician Molemo Jub Maarohanye of lying about blacking out after an alleged drag racing accident. Jub told the Protea Magistrates Court yesterday that he blacked out after hitting a tree and that he didn't hit any of the children. During cross-examination, the state dismissed this version. Jub and co-accused Temba Chabalala are on trial for an alleged drug-fueled drag racing incident in which 4 children died and 2 others were seriously injured. This after their cars ploughed into a group of school children walking alongside the road in March last year. They face 4 counts of murder, 2 of attempted murder and a charge of driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol. A United Nations environmental ambassador has criticized world leaders attending the COP17 summit in Durban for not including indigenous people in the decision-making process. American musician and an Apache, Robbie Romero, says it's often these marginalized communities that are the worst affected by the changing climate. Romero says he's skeptical of the true agenda of some of the leaders at the climate talks.
We're in a global crisis, and that global crisis is going to take indigenous wisdom and modern science to lead us into a time of healing. The voice of indigenous peoples throughout the world are falling on deaf ears. I think that there are many indigenous peoples who live at the point of impact on the front lines of climate change that are experiencing and adapting to the impacts of climate change. And this voice is not being heard. Many of the solutions that are being presented are actually false solutions to climate change.
And finally, further afield, at least 30 people have been killed and many others injured after a blast